episode 17. We're back at the. I think we've now done. No, we still have the most episodes at your house, but this is probably the second most used location now, right?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Welcome back, man. Well, we already recorded the main part of the episode today, but we still got some good stuff for y'all in the intro. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Some interesting stuff to go over for sure, and. NBA trade deadline just ended, so we're gonna be talking about that. Some wild stuff went down, some wild stuff didn't go down.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to talk about there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
For sure.
But let's get straight into it. You said you have like 5 W's and O's.
I have a lot.
So I would say I'm gonna go first, just because
we
might have the same ones.
Yeah.
If they overlap. You know what I mean? I only have one of each. My W, I gave. Okay, so I kind of twisted this one from Slander, but my W goes to Sedona Prince. She is the women's. Or the player on the Oregon women's basketball team, right? Kind of, I think she was the main one that kind of posted the discrepancies in the weight rooms on social media and led the charge. So I gave it to her specifically, but overall, I'm not gonna lie, this is just another way to make a Slander segment for the NCAA. For if you guys don't know, we can probably show it on the screen. But initially at the March Madness tournaments, the women's weight room was literally a dumbbell rack with what was it? Probably 5s, 10s, 15s, and 20s or something like that. Like literally 6 weights there.
Yep.
And then a bunch of yoga mats.
Yep.
15 yoga mats. And that was it. And the men's weight room was a full-on world class. It looked like a legitimate Division I NCAA call, one that a very good program would have.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And their reasoning for that was there wasn't enough space. And I think it was Sedona Prince who showed that right behind the weight room,
a bunch of space.
Not weight room. Right behind the dumbbell rack and
table with the yoga mat.
Literally, that's it. There was a whole bunch of space. It was literally the exact same size as the men's weight room. So it was pretty ridiculous. But it's thanks to her and other NCAA basketball players, and also some NBA players, of course, joining in the mix. My guy John Morant always shows support on Twitter. Shout out to him. But they got that changed, thankfully. NCAA was tripping, but W to Sedona Prince, but more
of a Slander.
It's pretty much a Slander segment.
Yeah. And adding on to the weight room, you even showed the food. The food looked
the food was. I looked at the food at first. I was just they're serving it differently. Then you look at the food like that doesn't look any good, bro. That looks kind of nasty.
Yeah.
And then the other dudes, the dudes, they had look kind of catered out.
It looked good, bro.
Something's going on there, man.
Usually, even with the NBA bubble, the men's food. I mean, there's only a men's bubble. There's a women's bubble actually. Never mind.
No. But those are different organizations.
Right. The NBA bubble, the food was not good at first. They were eating out of boxes and stuff like that. So I was
they got slandered for it.
Right.
I mean, one of the dudes almost went off campus trying to order proteins or whatever. And had to quarantine for it.
Yeah, and it looked pretty bad. So that's what I usually expect bubble food to be like. But when I saw the men's food, it looked like really quality gourmet catered food. It looked really good.
Wedding catering,
right? And then I honestly, I am not exaggerating. I can't tell what kind of meat was in the women's food thing. I actually don't know what that is.
Yeah, and also, since it's basically a slander, let me slander also the dudes that were in the comment section talking about it's because the men's game brings in more money. Bro, that doesn't mean they get that doesn't mean they do their 5 yoga mats and some dumbbells. Right. That has nothing to do with that.
Right.
It doesn't mean they have to eat terrible looking food and all that. And there was also there's a big discrepancy in the gear that they got.
Yep.
I feel like that one's not as bad as not giving them edible food and not giving them a legitimate place to work out.
Yeah.
But still,
and
shockingly, the NCAA is sexist.
I was going to say, the NCAA makes enough money off of people's likenesses that, they can serve good food and have enough equipment for both genders. It's not.
Absolutely. And, by the way, since we're talking about it, there's only 3 sports that are positive, revenue-wise, in the NCAA. There's only 3 sports that are net positive. Football brings in billions, basketball brings in a bunch, and baseball brings in a little, and every other sport operates in the negative.
I actually didn't know that.
The rest of them are all losing money.
Yeah.
So, regardless of whether the women's sport or the women's game brings in as much revenue, it doesn't matter. Every other sport is losing money in the NCAA. Right. They're all funded by football players.
Right.
who are literally putting their lives on the line,
Mm-hmm.
not even allowed to use their own name and likeness. NCAA is one of my least favorite organizations in the world. If you can tell. Pay the players, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, we already knew this about the NCAA. They are trash. But yeah. So I will go on to. Well, let me make sure I didn't mess that up. There we go. Okay. My W of the week. Actually, okay. I thought this was going to be your W of the week because it was like I'm flipping an L into a W. But my W of the week goes to the Houston Rockets for finally winning a game. If you don't know, they were on the Houston Rockets after trading James Harden were on a 20-game losing streak. I don't like. It's hard to fathom how bad how bad you have to be.
I think they actually won a couple games right after, but then immediately, and when Christian Wood went out.
Right. That's what it was. But like, I don't know. I would expect a 20-game losing streak from like, I don't know.
No one. Literally no one. Except the Timberwolves maybe, but like 20 games?
Right, 20 games is a lot, especially when you have John Wall as Marcus Cousins, even though he's not as great right now.
They had Oladipo for a lot of
Oladipo? Like, how do you lose 20 games in a row?
They still have PJ Tucker, too.
Mm-hmm. Right, they weren't a bad team. Like, we talked about this in one of the episodes. I thought they were going to be a playoff team after James Harden because I thought that was going to be a load off the chemistry problems they were having. I thought they were a playoff team, but apparently not.
They have talent, like...
Right.
I mean, I guess Christian Wood was out and he's their best player.
Yeah.
So that hurts. But 20?
20 is absolutely insane. That is a lot of games to lose in a row. And after their 20th loss, their coach, Steven Silas, who finally got a chance after being an assistant coach for so long, that man, I don't know if you saw the video. I'll put it on the screen. But he looked extremely sad. He looked defeated. And it was really sad to see because I don't know much about him, but I'm still rooting for him as a coach. I still want him to have a chance in this league. And it's not the start you want to have to your NBA coaching career. And after the win, he looked so much more happy. And you love to see. You love to see happiness like that.
I'm with that, yeah. See, I'll be honest with you. Black coach. I want black coaches to have success because
I was gonna say it, but I didn't really, you know what I mean. But
I want the black coaches to get a chance, and I don't know, it feels a little like I'm not gonna lie. I'm always rooting for the black. I'll watch a game.
You have to.
I'm always rooting for the black team to win.
Yeah.
But anyway, as a black coach, you wanted to have success, and also just in general, he was thrown into literally the worst possible situation, and so
It's kind of
I'm happy for him, and I saw him after the win hugging John Wall. I was glad that they got that off of their shoulders.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah.
All right. So my L of the week, I pulled it up as you can see.
Yeah.
It goes to Ludwig again. It has been 8 days
Still
since our last episode was recorded.
Yeah.
It's Thursday, right?
Yeah.
We recorded on Wednesday.
Yeah.
He's still live.
That's same stream.
Same stream. 28 hours now left on the clock. I'll tell you, on Friday at some point it was at 72 hours, and then it actually has been going down since then. So it will end eventually.
Yeah.
But even right now, the earliest it could possibly end would be 5 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. I guarantee you it's going till Saturday, Sunday.
That's ridiculous.
Like, it's an L because he's been live for literally, I think this is his 12th day. I think he's been, or 11th day.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
I can check the full thing somewhere. But yeah, I think this is 11th day live right now. He's going to be live for at least 12, probably 13 or 14 days straight, which is wild.
That's crazy.
It is an L, but again, I will add, this dude is going to end up making like $500,000+ on it, so it's not really an L.
Yeah.
He's also going to donate half to charity, just so you guys know.
Nice.
So
Nice.
But
that's
if
ridiculous.
you are bored and you have a lot of money, go ahead, donate. You can't donate more than 100 subs. You have to cap it, so that because people were donating way too many and just absolutely destroying him. But if you have extra money and you just want to have a good time, you just start donating subs to him and just keep holding him hostage, man.
Yeah, and it goes to charity.
Half of the gesture.
So that's nice. That's nice. And he's sleeping, right? I saw him sleep.
Yeah, he sleeps on stream. That's the thing. His biggest, the times where he gets the most subs is while he's asleep, which is the weird thing.
That's hilarious.
And he's trended on Twitter twice throughout it, both while he was asleep, and he's been the #1 streamer on Twitch while he's asleep.
It's ridiculous.
He also now has over 100,000 subscriptions, paid subscriptions, at $5 a subscription.
Wow.
Active. So that's $500,000 just right there. Now, I think actually not all of it goes to him. Twitch takes a cut, but since he's partnered, it's not actually a huge cut.
Right.
So he gets most of that money,
right?
Which is, it's wild. It's also I think the top 5 most subs ever had at one time, like most active subs of all time. So he's breaking records, making money, but he's been on stream for 11 days in a row, 10 days in a row.
Yeah, that's absolute insanity. Yeah, that's crazy. So my L of the week for this week goes to Netflix. Because did you ever watch the Magic School Bus when you were younger?
I think I've read the books, but I don't know if I've watched it much. I think I've watched it a little bit, but not a ton.
Got you. I feel like I used to watch it a lot in school, but even though I didn't watch it that much, I still feel like I have a connection to that show and it's part of my childhood. Yeah. So basically, what Netflix did, I think they're doing a reboot of the Magic School Bus or something like that. And so because they're doing a reboot, they had to do a bunch of like redesigns of all the characters. And basically, all I can say, so this is the original Miss Frizzle. I'll put it on the screen, which that's fine.
A little bunny situation.
What I'm saying. But then you look at the redesign and it's like, what? Why? Like, wait, like, I don't know. To me, I'll put it on the screen, but it's just weird. It looks so like.
She looked like she got like 20 years younger too.
Right. It takes all of the funniness and energy out of the character when you just like.
And her hair is straight.
Right.
Isn't that the whole point of Miss Frizzle? She's kind of wild.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The whole point of Miss Frizzle is that she's like a fun, crazy teacher that like you would love to have because she's just absolutely insane. And then she just looks. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah, that's not. It's whatever, but it's not Miss Frizzle.
It's not the same, bro. It's not the same. It's a minor L, who really cares? But it's
Hey, like, but stuff like this, they actually might change it because you remember the Sonic thing?
Yeah.
Like a whole human, and then like they got slandered so hard that they were like,
oh man,
update the design. And look, and then
that was hilarious.
It might actually get changed. So.
That was a crazy time on the internet. But yeah, especially as a former Sonic fan, that was my childhood right there. So
because it was his childhood, it was part of my childhood, bro. We would always remember the Sonic games at the
yes sir
on the GameCube, man.
Bro, back to the GameCube, bro. Classics, straight classics on the GameCube.
And the Connect too. I remember Transformers.
Oh yeah,
we grinded that.
The Sonic Riders.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Good times, bro. Good times.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My Slander segment goes to Oral Roberts. They're the 15 seed that beat Ohio State in the first round. And okay, first of all, I was like, oh, I had Ohio State losing in the second round. This is wonderful that they lost all that. So I was excited. And plus, who doesn't like a good underdog? Unless of course they're beating your champion, which would suck.
Right.
Couldn't be me though. Because I knew Ohio State was, I like that. But
anyway. Once again, Chris is never wrong. He's never wrong on a basketball take. Never.
Anyway, he said it, not me.
Facts.
But Oral Roberts University is actually not so good. So basically, someone, I don't know, I saw it on TikTok, but in their like student handbook or something, basically, it's against the rules to be homosexual at their school because they're like a really religious school. But I really don't care if you're religious. Doesn't stop trying to control what other people want to do with their lives.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's literally specifically in the handbook.
Yeah.
If you do any of these actions, including homosexual acts, you can be like kicked out of school.
That's ridiculous. In 2021, we're still doing it. We're still
exactly.
We're still being what's the word? Homophobic in 2021.
Imagine.
But yeah,
why
actually,
are you worried about what somebody?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why do you care?
Also, actually, isn't it like? That's not really religious if you're trying to control what other people are doing, right? Because isn't it God's job to do the judging, right?
Jeez, I do want to get into this right now.
Why are you trying to prevent people from having abortions? Why are you trying to prevent people from loving who they want to love? That's God's job, right?
That's a great point.
You're trying to do God's job. I'm pretty sure that's like way worse than doing something God wouldn't even want you to do. You know?
And you're hating on other people. You're supposed to love everyone.
Love thy neighbor. What's happening?
Exactly.
Who's really religious?
Very interesting topic that we should definitely talk about at some point.
Just saying, man.
But yeah, no, I didn't know that, but I did hear that Oral Roberts is like extremely strict religious school. I think I was talking to someone that actually like an adult that like what their parents wanted them to go to Oral Roberts. And they were like, nope, because it is so strict. Apparently there's like no parties, no fun, of course, no college activities. Yeah, I can't, I mean,
college kids, man, homework in the library.
Yeah, like staying in your dorm at night and studying hard.
Studying, Bible study. Yeah,
Exactly.
Bible study with the boys.
Exactly. Bible study with the boys. But yeah. So I've heard some things about Oral Roberts, but that's I don't know.
So I hope they lose in 16.
Facts. But yeah, honestly, one of my slander segments that I have written down is the NCAA. We already went over that.
Yeah, I knew that was was gonna be somewhere. So.
But my other one, I have two to choose from. I don't know. What do I go with? Okay, so I'm gonna start with this.
Whoa! Choose from. This is the goal of the full podcast. We slander everyone.
Facts. All right, so I'll do both of these really quick.
Yeah.
First one. Did you see D'Angelo Russell's tweet about Anthony Edwards winning?
In poor taste, for sure.
Terrible tweets.
For sure.
Tweet, bro. What are you doing? So basically, if you don't know, LaMelo Ball is out for the season with a wrist injury. Allegedly, we'll see.
Although I did see he might be getting reevaluated, but
right, that would
probably have to see.
Love to see that. I don't know. But basically, because he's out for the season, I don't know if it was because I don't want to make assumptions, but it seemed like in response to LaMelo Ball's injury, D'Angelo Russell decided to basically tweet. I'll put it on the screen. He basically tweeted that Anthony Edwards, easy rookie of the year, which is it's in terrible taste because basically what he's saying is, and it might be true, I don't know, we'll see how it works out. But because LaMelo Ball's injured, Anthony Edwards is the runner-up for rookie of the year, so he's gonna win it. Which is just in very poor taste, and it's a pretty gross tweet. But we already know D'Angelo Russell's history with Twitter and exposing people. So yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly what he meant by the tweet, but it was literally right after the injury right after the news of the injury for LaMelo.
Yeah.
And the first thought is, oh yeah, let me tweet that support your teammates 100%. Yeah. I think players should do even more. They should always be gassing up their teammates, but that's not the right way to go about that. So.
Bad taste. And my other one, I'll make this real quick. I know we don't have that much time, but my other one is, I don't know if you saw the flight situation where he was
of course
literally held hostage by his ex Drea, which is a crazy situation.
I did not watch the video because I'm not watching a 50-minute video with 25 ads in it about that. But
basically what happened was. Flight and his girl were having Flight looked at DDG's album cover that had girls on it. Dre got mad at him, so she came over to his house.
Hold on. For what? For looking
at the album cover. There's a whole lot. There's a whole lot of mess in here, and honestly, this is a topic that we should talk about for a whole episode. But basically, Flight said, "I'm done." Broke up with her over the phone on stream. On stream. It was hilarious. Drea pulled up to his house during the stream and
that clip.
Basically lied, saying that she had to get in, get her stuff. So Flight let her in, and then she basically just sabotaged his stream. Tried to I don't know how to describe it exactly, but she was wilding, and she was trying to get him to take her back and delete the tweet saying he was single. Right, exactly. And then when she ended the stream, Flight didn't end the stream. She ended the stream. She started screaming, hiding in his bathroom, taking his phone, basically hacking his Twitter,
and breaking stuff.
Yeah. Right. Then the cops got called. I don't know if this is a good thing or bad thing. Honestly, if I was Flight, I probably wouldn't have done this. But he lied for her, and it was like, nah, everything's good. And the police left. She kept doing it for a couple hours, and then eventually Flight agreed to put the "she's my girlfriend" tweets up, and then she left. But all that is to say, that's just super toxic behavior that no one should have to deal with. Someone manipulating them, literally hacking their Twitter. All that stuff just because you're sad that someone looked at an album cover. It's just crazy behavior, and it's a very interesting topic that maybe we'll get into at some point. But yeah, that's my slander segment.
Yeah, she was wild for that.
Yeah. All right, so we're skipping the question of the week this week just because we have a lot to get through because the trade deadline just ended literally an hour and a half ago. And a good amount of stuff went down. It was a pretty interesting trade deadline. Not as much stuff as I would have liked to see. Just because, I don't know, there's so many rumors going around. I thought a lot more was going to happen. But, yeah, where do we want to start with this?
All right. I think I'll start with the few teams that did really well. Mm-hmm. So, the first one, Aaron Gordon, should we go down?
Yeah, yep.
I mean, Aaron Gordon requested a trade, I believe, a few days ago. He's done with being on the Magic. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that you didn't want to play in Orlando for a bad team. Wow.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So he requested a trade, and he was moved to Denver. So, really, I mean, I know we have to limit it, but that's another W of the week. Like,
yeah. Denver's looking amazing right now.
Yeah, so Aaron Gordon to Denver. I think it worked really well for Denver, and obviously for Aaron Gordon as well. That's a lot of talent, man.
Yeah.
A lot of talent. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Denver's... Honestly, I think that puts them... Now I'm trying to think. Standings, whatever. It doesn't matter. The Lakers are going all the way to the bottom probably because LeBron and AD are out. So standings don't really matter. But in terms of like power rankings in the West, I'm putting them like maybe third now, honestly. Ooh. I think that moves them over.
Utah.
Maybe? I don't know. I don't know if I really believe in Utah. This is a whole other topic.
I honestly believe in Denver right now more than I believe in Utah in the playoffs.
Yeah.
To be fair, they were up 3-1 on Denver, which I guess should count for something that Donovan Mitchell was playing well.
I forgot about that actually.
But I mean, 2 3-1 comebacks. They got some fight in them. Well, I'll tell you right now, anytime they get in the playoffs, they're never out of the series.
Yeah.
Because they've done it twice already. They'll do it again. And we know what Jamal Murray does. Apparently, he just needs it to be the playoffs, or maybe he needs a bubble or something.
Yeah.
He turns on demon timing. Jokic this year has been 10 times better than he even was last year. He was already a good player. They got an MVP candidate in Jokic. They got Jamal Murray. Now they got Eric Gordon. And they still have Michael Porter Jr., who is a bucket.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that man is going to be scoring 20, 25 a game for years and years as long as he's healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about KD comparisons a lot. He's not no one's Kevin Durant, but he might be the closest thing in terms of that size and that scoring ability. The man is a bucket, so. And
they still kept Bull, so apparently
when is he ever gonna play, bro?
I don't know, bro. Okay, L of the week, Orlando GM, bro. You didn't get you made 2 trades. You didn't get any good prospects. Honestly, you got RJ Hampton, Gary Harris, who's already. He's a veteran at this point. You couldn't get Bull. You couldn't get Will Barton. You couldn't get, I don't know, even Paul Millsap. Someone young, please, bro. Like, y'all took the L on that. But I'm looking at the Denver Nuggets depth chart. They're looking very nice. Jamal Murray, Campazzo, Monte Morris, Will Barton, Monte Morris again, PJ Dozier still, Aaron Gordon, Paul Millsap, Michael Porter Jr., JaMychal Green, JaVale McGee now, back at center.
They got Jamil.
Yep.
Dude.
It's a great team.
It's a good team.
It's a really good team.
They had a slow start, but they're I guess look, they're 2 games behind the Lakers for fourth.
They're chilling.
2.5 games behind the Clippers for third. I mean, they're obviously going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to have home court because of all the injuries to the Lakers. They're going to be in a tough spot. So, hey, man, I thought it was a foregone conclusion that we're going to see Lakers Nets, but, you know.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens to the Lakers.
Yeah.
LeBron and AD is nothing to mess around with. So.
For sure. And I guess, I don't know, the next big win, I guess, of a team, I would say, actually there was 2, but the first one that happened was the Bulls trade. They traded for Vucevic.
That was in the morning, yeah.
That was the first trade that happened, or one of the first trades, the first big trade.
Right.
Basically, the Chicago Bulls traded Wendell Carter Jr. and someone else. Otto Porter, for Nikola Vucevic. And I'm just happy for Vucevic. Another W of the week. I'm just happy for Vucevic that he's getting out of the Orlando Magic trap that he's been in for literally his whole career. He's such a good player, and he deserves to actually win. And hopefully he will be able to with the Chicago Bulls being close to the playoffs. So.
And they already have that man, Zach LaVine, who's been a crazy good player this year. I don't know. I didn't know what I was going to say. But no, yeah. Zach LaVine's been balling. Vucevic's been balling. Now they got a little bit of that guard and center action. You know, they can do a lot of things. Man.
Yeah. So, they're looking really good.
Kobe White is a bucket, too. Like, hey, man, I'm not going to say I tweeted that this morning, man. I'm happy for my guy king of the fourth quarter.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
He deserves better.
He deserves a good team, bro. That man has been down bad, but
yeah. I know he's having a wonderful day. So
yeah.
Another W of the week for Kyle.
Another W. And then the other W has to go to the Miami Heat. They went stupid.
Yeah.
They got and it wasn't even in trades. It was just in.
They got the Oladipo. I think is a trade.
Okay.
It's 4.
Okay, but yeah, they got Oladipo. Was that it?
But they were leaders for LaMarcus Aldridge in the buyout market.
That's what it was.
That's the other thing. And this is adding to a team who, since they got Jimmy Butler back, has been, like, winning percentage-wise, there's 3 teams in the East that are really good. They've been on that level, though, since they got Jimmy back. I think they won, 9 of 10 or 10 of 11 at one point. And Jimmy's been playing really, really well. Bam, when he's healthy, has been playing really, really well this year. They both very well could have been All-Stars, arguably should have. But that's neither there. So yeah. And then I will say, I also think the Celtics deserve a W because they actually did something at the deadline. They got Evan Fournier.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm thinking about it, and it's wild that the Magic had all those dudes, and they just offloaded all of them to make teams actually much better.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think the Celtics, they needed a little bit more ball handling without Smart for the beginning. I don't know when Smart's coming back. I think it should be soon, though, right?
It should be soon, yeah.
But yeah, now if they got Smart, Fournier, got Brown and Tatum, obviously. Makes things a little bit more interesting in the East, man.
Yeah, all they got to do is stay in the playoffs because they're literally the 8th seed. Other W's. Okay. Kyle Lowry, what is happening, bro?
This is not a W.
Not a W.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Go explain what happened there.
So basically what happened was, if you don't know Kyle Lowry, he is a point guard for the Toronto Raptors. He's been there almost his whole career. Had a lot of success in getting to the playoffs, and they won a championship with him. So, because the Raptors are not good, and they might as well just rebuild, in my opinion, and Kyle Lowry's getting a little bit up there in age, they're like, okay, we respect that, you've done a lot for us for this. You've done a lot for this franchise. We will let you pick where you want to go, pretty much, or we will let you be in the negotiations. So, there were a bunch of teams on the table. There were a bunch of competitors on the table. There was the Heat, there was the Sixers, there was the Lakers, there are a couple other teams that he could have gone to.
Clippers too, right?
Clippers too. And all of those would have been really great fits, and I would have loved to see him on the Sixers or the Heat or something like that. And none of them happened. We've been hearing about this trade happening for like weeks, and none of them happened. He didn't go anywhere. And it's weird because I feel like last night they had like this, basically everyone knew it was the end for Kyle Lowry in Toronto. In the press conferences, they were talking about, what's your message to the city or whatever. Drake called him, which was funny. Apparently he was crying too. Like, it just seemed like the end of Kyle Lowry in Toronto. And he's still there after the trade deadline. So.
And for me, the thing about that is that you clearly gave up on your season, and you made it clear to everyone that you gave up on your season, and now you're just chilling there. Didn't get anything back. Kyle's a free agent, and he's going to leave in the offseason. So, what is your plan? What is your aim with this?
Right.
I do think Masai is usually a really good GM, but I don't know. This one doesn't make sense to me.
Right. Like, do you want to be bad? Do you want to be good? Like, because they can make the playoffs, but like, what's the point of being an 8th seed at that point? You know what I mean? When your best players leaving.
They're on the 11 right now. They're out of the playoffs even with the play-in.
Yeah.
How? This is bad this year, bro. They're like 8 games under 500.
It's crazy.
They would be the 3rd worst team in the West. They're worse than the Kings, dude.
Yeah.
How are you worse than the Kings?
The Raptors are not in a great situation right now. I don't know. It's and I feel bad for Kyle Lowry too. Like, he should be able to, like, he's a free agent next year. But I feel like there's so many teams that could use him right now in his playoff push, and it's just sad that he doesn't get to participate in that.
Do they buy him out? He's expiring, right?
That honestly, like, why not? Right? I mean, obviously they're you don't get anything back, but that's your fault.
But
You didn't make the trade.
Back if you just let him go free agency either.
Right. So they might as well, and it was just out of respect for arguably the best Raptor ever. I mean, it's arguable, guy.
Greatest, I think you still have to give it to him because Kawhi Leonard was the best player for 1 year.
Yeah.
And DeMar was better than him, but
they didn't win
the championship.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
He's their guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anything else we want to cover in terms of trades? I mean, there's little stuff like Norman Powell going to. Yeah, so Rajon Rondo, who's on the Hawks, and Lou Will, who was on the Clippers, they got swapped. So now Rajon Rondo is on the Clippers, Lou Will on the Hawks. And I think that's a really good trade for the Clippers. The Clippers definitely won that trade, in my opinion, just because I feel like they have Reggie Jackson, they have Patrick Beverley, I think. He's injured. But, like, having another really high IQ point guard on your team that can distribute the ball is just that's exactly what you want on a team like that. And for Lou Will, I mean, the Hawks are in the fight for the playoffs, right? I mean,
no, they just won 8 straight, yeah.
Yeah, they've won 8 straight. The Hawks are a good team, so even for Lou Will, it's not terrible. It's not a terrible situation. You get to be in Atlanta for Lou Will, so you know what I mean.
Yeah. For Lou,
lemon pepper Lou.
Yeah, I'm not as high on this shit as you are, just because I don't. Okay, actually no. Lou Will's only been scoring 12 a game this year, so he's not been that great.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Who's your third best player now? That's my
Hawks?
thing. For the
Clippers.
Clippers. Like, is it Nicholas Batum? Is it Marcus Morris? I don't know, man. They're supposed to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think it does. It's probably a positive trade just because in the playoffs, we know Rondo can be a very good player.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 2 times we've been in the playoffs, he's been very impactful. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably a good trade.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's great. And the thing is, I don't think it's enough. That's mostly the important thing.
So your worry is the more like the scoring part.
Yeah, and I guess it's not really that the trade is the problem. I think the problem is just the Clippers.
Yeah.
That they're just not, it's not going to be enough, man.
Yeah.
Lakers have no LeBron and no AD, and I still believe way more in them than I do in the Clippers.
Yeah, honestly, after last season, I've just lost all hope in the Clippers. The Clippers just pretty much showed us that they can't win. But, prove us wrong. You never know.
Yeah, their defensive rating is 15th in the NBA this year. That's not good enough.
Yeah.
I guarantee that's not good enough. The Nets, I think, are 12th, if I remember correctly. So.
The defensive?
Yeah,
I thought the Nets were like
wrong.
26th.
Maybe it's like since, I don't know. They might be, maybe I'm counting, but.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. It's not good enough,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you have those two guys as your best players, Kawhi and PG. But you should be destroying people on defense. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, I feel like the West this season is honestly better than it was last season, and now you got the Nuggets picking up Aaron Gordon. So y'all have even more competition. Yeah, it's not looking good, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, anything else we want to cover real quick? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But so that's the end of the first part of the episode. But now we're going to transition into the part that we already recorded. But we got to have our friend Zoe Beach on to talk about the anti-Asian violence that's been going on. It's been going on forever, but it's finally getting the coverage that it needs recently. So yeah, anything else you want to add? If not,
I mean, Chelsea Zoe, she was a great guest.
Facts.
It was a good conversation, so hopefully y'all can get something out of that. But other than that, I mean, thanks for watching part one.
Yeah, thanks for watching part one. Enjoy the second part. There you go.
Welcome to the second segment of the podcast, man. This is episode
17.
We already said that in the intro, probably.
Oh, you're right.
This is episode 17. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, we have a special guest, Zoe Beach, here
Hi,
today.
guys.
For segment 2. Also segment 1, because we haven't filmed segment 1 yet. So.
But that's fine. We'll get there.
You know what we do here? We go with the flow, man. So.
Exactly.
So today, I guess what we wanted to talk about is, as I'm sure you guys know, there's been a lot of anti-Asian racism that's been going on recently, just throughout the country. And so we've talked a lot about the BLM movement and a lot of racism on the podcast so far, but we wanted to bring in, a friend of ours who is Asian, so that we can have a different perspective on all of that and kind of just have a conversation about it and just overall about stuff that we can kind of do to help. And hopefully, I think we can provide some resources that we have access to.
Yeah.
That we'll hopefully link in the description. We'll take care of that though.
Yeah. And they're also, just to talk about the resources thing, I think Asia Club is actually doing a fundraiser on their Instagram account that we will put down in the description. But yeah, definitely check that out. We'll have other links in the bio down below, so you can donate or just get educated on what's going on in the country right now. Because it's very sad, and it's interesting because I feel like a lot of this stuff has been happening for a while now, especially this year because of the COVID. But now it's finally getting the coverage that it needs and deserves. So I'm glad that this is happening. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate that it's happening right now and that it hasn't happened earlier. But yeah, where do we want to start with this topic? Because it's a big topic that we can't cover in the time that we have. But
well, I guess I'll say for me, the first thing that I really heard when it came to the whole uprising, I guess, in anti-Asian racism that's come on in the last really a lot in the last couple weeks actually. But the first thing that I heard was Jeremy Lin talking about how he had been called coronavirus on the court. I think playing the G League bubble, and just overall talking about a lot of different comments and things made by other players and stuff about, and I'm sure fans too, just about the coronavirus and kind of, I mean, I guess the overall sentiment was blaming Chinese people for the coronavirus, which is something that's obviously very sad to see. And then again, not surprising when you have someone who was the president at the time, but peddling that same narrative.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, what were your thoughts when you saw all these movements happening and all of this, the racist attacks going on throughout America, and especially in the Bay Area too. I don't know if you saw it, but there's lots of going on in the Bay Area.
I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, or I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was. The first time I heard about it was when an elderly Asian man in San Francisco was somehow hurt. I think he was stabbed or something. And that really hit close to home, just because I was imagining, like, my own grandpa or grandma, like, walking to the grocery store and someone decides to hurt them just because of the way they look. And, it did surprise me, especially since we live in the Bay Area and I don't really usually see stuff like that happen around me. So it was kind of a wake-up call to what's happening. And I think a big problem with society today is that we're not really labeling what's happening as, like, a hate crime. Like, we're finding excuses, especially the way the media is portraying all this happening. So, like, we don't actually know, like, how bad this problem is because it's not being labeled as a hate crime. So, like, all these attacks, they're being labeled as, like, oh, like, this person had, like, a sexual addiction instead of calling it, like, an anti-Asian hate crime.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was thinking about the stabbing that I saw. I saw some dude apparently attacked an old Asian lady, and she fought back, actually, and hurt him, which was, that's as she should. And I actually forgot, which is sad. I forgot about that, the shooting in the, I guess it was 3 different spas that happened like 2 weeks ago.
That was in Atlanta, right?
In Atlanta, yeah. But yeah, I think the fact, like, you always think of the Bay Area as so inclusive and so diverse and so welcoming and all that stuff, but this stuff happens everywhere, and it's happening in our own communities, and it's a wake up call. Like, you always got to be careful, always have to look out. And I think the other thing that you said that I can, relate to is, like, imagining that is your relative or that's your grandma, grandpa, all that stuff. Like, when there was, like, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, like, those could have been my cousins, my brothers, my uncles, all that stuff. And that really, like, makes you think, like, wow, this is really messed up and something needs to change, because, like, that could be any of us in the future at some point, or any of us now. And it's crazy to think that people can just get away with doing stuff like that and nothing really happened to you, or like the bare minimum happened to you. And for it not to be labeled a hate crime when it clearly was motivated by the race of the person attacked. It's just like, what are we doing? Like, we're smart. I know we're smarter than this. So.
Yeah, it just kind of feels like we're being robbed of our justice.
Right, exactly.
I think it was like a police officer said that the dude that did the mass shooting in Atlanta, he was having a bad day.
Yeah, I heard that too.
It's like that really, I mean, it tells you all you need to know.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just say it point blank, like, what happened, like, yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, it's crazy that people can just, like, label stuff like that. And that's a person in power. That is the police chief, I think. And as someone who is supposed to protect people, I mean, we've had this conversation a million times.
That's their whole job.
That's their whole job. And the fact that they don't, and they're trying to, I don't know what the word is, but, like,
trying to justify a mass shooting.
Right.
And also, I think that, shocker, they found stuff on one of his social media, like Facebook or something, that was anti-Asian.
Right.
There you go.
Not a surprise at all. I don't know why we're acting surprised. Like, this stuff doesn't happen all the time. And even though this wasn't a racial thing, I mean, there was just another mass shooting a couple days ago in Boulder. So it's just like, we know this stuff happens. We should be prepared for it, but nothing's changing. Nothing's happening.
And I think the thing about that one, too, is they had just, I believe, re-legalized AR-15s. Like, I don't know how recent, but I think it was like pretty recently. They legalized AR-15s in Colorado, maybe in Boulder specifically. I think it was in Colorado. I don't know. And right after,
that's what happened. Yeah.
That's wild.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like, I guess the next step is trying to figure out ways that we can kind of, I don't know if help out is the right word, but like show support for the people who are affected by this. So I don't know, do you think that there are any specific ways that we should try to, especially as other people of color, Black people, try to help out or reach out to Asian people in general?
I mean, I think the easiest way to show support is just, like texting your friends that are Asian that are experiencing this kind of hate. And I've actually personally gotten texts from a lot of other people of color at Head-Royce that are like, if you need help, just reach out. I'm here to talk to you if you need it. And it's felt really good. Yeah. I think also what Asia Club is doing, they're like raising the word and they're having lots of webinars and hosting people who can talk about this. And also sharing resources like the Stop AAPI Hate thing on their Instagram. I think you guys are going to link that. But I looked at the organization online, and it looks like they're doing a lot of good work. There's also a lot of organizations in San Francisco where you can sign up to like walk elderly people, like escort them to the grocery stores, which I'm going to sign up to do. So, yeah, if you feel inclined, just showing your support to your friends, but also your broader community.
Right. I actually didn't know about that. That's very interesting, and that's great, yeah.
And I think in we had like the Asia Club BSU joint meeting on Tuesday.
Yep.
And I think Danny Wood mentioned kind of what you were talking about, just in general, just having good friendships between different minority groups is something that helps a lot. And overall, just trying to find unity in times like these is very important.
Yeah. I think another important thing is making sure you're not like a bystander. Like I got this text from my mom. This post was traveling around social media saying like there's like a slap an Asian thing going around where like if you see an Asian person, it's like a trend to slap them as part of anti-Asian hate. And it's being spread by a lot like teenagers in the Bay Area, also nationally. So I think if you see that happening, say like that's not cool, like stand up for people, making sure you're not letting that just slide by.
I don't even know what to say to that. How is that okay? Like, what? That isn't, what? Like, that's, I don't know. Okay. But yeah, I think a lot of things you said in there are very true and very important. And I think speaking up when you see things like that, or even like, I don't know, I feel like it's very normal to make jokes about people's race and stuff like that. And I feel like eventually those kind of jokes lead to slapping Asian, which is crazy that that's a thing and that's a trend. I've never heard that. But like stuff like that, it just shows how normalized racism is. And it's just like, I don't know how we can just live in a world where that's just a cool thing to do and you face no repercussions for it. Yeah, I mean, another thing that you mentioned was checking in on your friends and just making sure that you let people know that you're standing with them and all that stuff. And that is something that Daniel Wu talked about in the BSU Asia Club joint meeting on Tuesday, which was really great, and I'm really glad that he came through and talked to us about it. And I asked him a question. I was like, what is the best way for us as other minorities to support the Asian community? And his answer was basically just like, yeah, like you said, like make friends with different people, different races, learn their experiences, and just try to connect. And that's the best way to learn, honestly. And I agree. I feel like I have a pretty diverse set of friends, I guess. And I've definitely learned a lot from being friends with people of a bunch of different races and cultures. And another topic that I've heard a lot about, even before this recent push to stop Asian hate, was the relationship between specifically Black people and Asian people, because I feel like there's definitely a history there with, I don't know what to call it exactly, just like, I don't know, animosity between the two communities. And I think it just comes from a difference in the way that culturally we operate. I don't know. But I feel like showing that, like, if you are a Black person, that you support the Stop Asian Hate movement, and if you're an Asian person, that you support the Black Lives Matter movement is very important in these times. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up real quick.
Yeah, and I know one thing that Daniel also mentioned is that I think he said his organization is trying to do some some joint initiatives with NAACP, which I think is very important. And yeah, I've had the same experience with you where I've heard a lot about I've heard a lot about racism towards Black people from the Asian community in the past. And then I've also definitely seen some of these hate crimes that have been going on have been from Black people. And it's definitely really disappointing to see for me, just because, I mean, we know, of all people, we definitely know the effects that racism can have.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, it's disappointing to see people, part of your community, going out and, committing hate crimes against another race. It's just, it's sad to see. And I don't know how to stop that exactly, but I think that it's definitely, I guess both communities definitely should be working together. And
Right.
Yeah, I think this came up with BLM last year and George Floyd. When people were posting, a ton on social media, I saw a lot of performative activism. Like, you'd see people posting every single day for like a week and then it kind of drop off. And it's not like these kind of things are not like a trend. I think with what's going on now, and especially what was going on with BLM last year, like, you should use this as an opportunity to learn about the other culture and like the history of the society, and you should use it as an opportunity to learn rather than like be a part of the trend and make sure people don't get mad at you for not taking part in this activism.
Right. And at the end of the day, I mean, the way I think about it is just like, we're both minorities in the same country. I don't understand why we're not working together at this point. Like, at the end of the day, the people who are oppressing us are the people in power, which are mostly white people. And I feel like if we just stop arguing between our races and come together and realize that, like, the only reason that there are Asian people that don't like Black people and Black people that don't like Asian people is because we've been taught by the society that we live in that one or the other have problems with the other, you know what I mean? So I feel like the sooner that we realize that we should just be in this together, and I guess corny as that sounds, it's really true. I think the sooner that we'll stop seeing as much Asian hate as there is, and as much hate crimes against the Black people as there are. So, that's
what people in power want, is they want the people, the minorities, people who aren't in power, to be always fighting against each other, because, the second all the minorities are one, or I don't know how to say it, but
unified altogether.
Yeah, unified, there you go. Yeah. Then that becomes a problem for the people who are in power right now.
Right.
And I think it's like a specific, I don't know, I saw somewhere that like it's actually a legitimate government strategy that they try to do that. They try and pick fights between different minorities so that they can remain in power. So,
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's like we were talking about this in one of my classes today, but that's the importance of, electing officials that are actually kind of like ordinary people. Like, they're not members of the elite classes of society. They've like felt trauma and violence in their life, and they can speak to that, so that when they're elected to these positions, their legislation actually reflects the people.
You don't see it a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of women.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, I would just say check in with, people of different cultures, make sure they're doing okay, especially Asian people in this time, because it's craziness. And I'm glad that there's finally a movement that's getting started around this. It's way overdue.
I mean, I'll say one of the things that I thought was interesting that he mentioned was that he said he kind of found his activist side during 2020 with the whole BLM movement. And I don't know, I just thought it was interesting that he had that experience, because I feel like I kind of had the same experience where, I mean, I don't know, I knew a lot of the stuff that was going on, but I also learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know. And then I kind of realized, like, I have a few followers on Instagram. Why don't I post stuff on my story? So people can see and understand what's going on. And I don't know. I think that also, I always try to find the line between performative activism and trying to raise awareness genuinely. And I think part of it is just where it comes from. Like, if you're trying to do it because you want it to look good, that's one thing, versus if you actually just want people to see it. I think that's part of the difference. But also, just trying to actually take action and not just spread awareness. But I thought that was really interesting for him. And then also he mentioned a bunch of the stuff that he has been doing since then, which was really cool to see.
Okay, well, basically, Asia Club here at Head-Royce is hosting an annual fundraiser to support Stop AAPI Hate, which is an organization. You can look it up online, stopaapihate.org. And they're selling masks, which is actually really cool. The design is really great. It's designed by Charlie Yee, who's a student here at Head-Royce. They're selling them for $10, and all proceeds go to this organization. They're also selling candy bags, and then you can just make a donation if you want. They're going to link it. It's a really great organization, and I would suggest you take a look at it.
Anything else? I think that was pretty good.
You have anything else you want to say?
No, that's it.
Don't plug anything.
Do I want to what?
Plug anything.
Like promote anything that you're doing.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Such as your podcast.
Oh.
There you go. See, you know.
Oh, also, if you don't know this, Clarissa, Wolfer, Zoe, and me, 2 seniors, we have our own podcast called CZSPN. You can check us out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars and leave a comment. We love our fans.
I actually didn't know you guys are on Apple Podcasts. I thought you guys...
We are on everything.
Okay, nice. Actually, okay, question about that. How do you put your stuff on there? Like, I don't even know how to...
So, we found this app called Spreaker. Never heard of it before. It's Speaker with an R. And you record on that app, and then you publish it to Spreaker, but it also publishes to all these other apps, which is really great. And we have a lot of listeners. I think like 10 monthly listeners. Woo!
Nice.
And if you want to be a feature, hit me up. You can email me. We'd love to have you. We record about once a month. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very consistent.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I use for my other podcast.
Oh, really?
I haven't recorded in like 2 months, but yeah.
Interesting. See, I never heard of that. I'm out of the loop. But yeah, unless we have anything else to cover, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed having you on, and this is a really important conversation, so I'm glad we got to have it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, so, yeah.
Go follow Zoe on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. We'll put your Instagram on the screen if you
Okay.
want. I don't know.
Sure.
And we'll put a picture of the podcast up there so they know exactly what to type in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, thanks for watching, y'all, and we'll see you next week. Peace.